Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the plot thickens with this whole kind of shroud of information over who the hell is in charge of Doge. It sure seems to be, as a practical matter, Elon Musk. But the White House has been doing all kinds of maneuvers in the courts. In the public eye, you saw at the joint address by Trump, he touted Musk and all the great work he's doing. Everybody sees him as the head of it. But for legal reasons, they are trying to get away with saying, Musk, oh, he's just a kind of advisor to the president. He doesn't have any real role. He's just a sort of pool buddy who hangs out with the president some. That trivializes it a little, but that's basically what they're saying. Who is running Doge? Here's who's running Doge, a woman named Amy Gleason. Now, from the start, nobody had ever heard of Amy Gleason. And in fact, it turns out now that she only joined the government a few days before they first asserted in court. Amy Gleason, she's running this whole huge efficiency trimming funding operation. It's not Elon Musk. He's just an advisor to the president. But it gets worse, because now it turns out that Amy Gleason, who had an affidavit in one of these cases saying, yep, I work for Doge. I am a full-time administrator at Doge. Now it turns out she was actually hired and continues to be in the service of Health and Human Services, a whole nother U.S. agency. So this woman, who has said that she was full-time handling all this stuff at Doge, has filed an affidavit, because she had to in court, saying she was hired, and again, just a few days before they started touting her as the head of Doge for some role at HHS without even a mention in the affidavit that she filed that anything about HHS. So something is funky in the extreme. At a minimum, they're clearly trying to talk out of both sides of their mouths, saying that this woman is, in some piece of paper somewhere, but we haven't even seen the paper, the actual top dog at this huge new federal agency. What else can you call it that everybody, all the other agencies, have to basically, report to and take their lumps from, as Doge is in the business of just completely reducing their workforce and their jobs and their functions and the like. This woman who's in charge is, on paper, not even an employee of Doge, but rather of HHS. So something is funky, manipulative, completely legal, contrived. For Amy Gleason to, a few days before they advance her, to come out and sign on to HHS, which we now know she did, and that's her current status, but then at the same time for the administration in court to be saying, oh, she's the big boss here. Elon Musk, he's just a little advisor. Something at a bare minimum is really funky. Maybe they can square the circle in some way legally. Like, here's that secret piece of paper that actually says she's in charge of everything, but it sure doesn't seem likely that she's doing it full time. She just had started it before they said it. And she's also at HHS. Now, she says, oh yeah, I oversee all of the employees here at Doge. All the detailees, that means people who are sort of temporarily assigned to Doge from other places. I report directly to the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. That's, the person who works most closely with Trump. Elon Musk, he doesn't work here. I don't report to him. He doesn't report to me. To my knowledge, he is a senior advisor to the White House. So, in the very best of worlds, something is way squirrely, legally, contrived, but in a way that just doesn't accord with the facts on the ground. And this is not a minor matter. This is the biggest innovation that Trump has made since he was inaugurated for a second term. This huge, obviously Elon Musk run agenda of redoing and ransacking the federal government. We're now told that somehow this woman, who we've known nothing about and who actually works at HHS, she's in charge, and Musk, he's maybe a senior advisor or something, who knows. So something somebody's got some splaining to do. I don't know if they will. The obvious effort, and they do it elsewhere, is to try to just stonewall the legal stuff by presenting this. But I imagine with everything that's going on, and most recently an actual injunction, not just against the administration, but against Musk personally, who was sued by one of these agencies or employees who they got rid of, a court is going to want to get to the bottom of it. And I don't know what the administration is going to say to try to keep them from doing it. Is there some national security issue we don't know about that they'll now proffer and say, sorry, you can't look at it? Will they say, you got to take our word for it? Will they say, we're just going to take it up on appeals? We'll see. But needless to say, one more example, the administration just isn't being honest with the American people. They're trying to conceal Musk's outsized role and serve it up with a woman who, at most, has a nominal role and not an actual one. And it's just, at best, sneaky as hell. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.